Ladies and gentlemen, I'm not sure if I can reach those emotional heights. But he certainly outlined the kind of relationship he had with his siblings. And unfortunately, Niall wasn't always drugged and asleep in the back. Frequently, it was a three-way fight as I was driving down an auto route, and I would get a boot in the back of the head, or something would be thrown out the window. But I would like to echo what other people have said about Hannah today. The dress is absolutely stunning, and so are you. Absolutely fantastic. In welcoming Hannah as the new Mrs. Blake-Knox to the family, one of the great difficulties and problems in life that you're going to face is people mishearing your surname, and you may have to repeat it more than once. I know that one of your relatives thought Rory's surname was Big Fox, which has a certain ring to it. My wife's favourite one was recently, she was addressed, my wife is called Kathy, she was addressed as Cassie Blackar Lonax. Which is quite impressive. Some of you have noticed the suits at the wedding party. We're all wearing the same suits and ties and everything like that. And somebody actually said, "Is this a show band?" And of course, the answer is yes. Rory is a huge fan of Irish show band music. It's a secret passion. His favourite is Philomena Begley and her Rambling Men. And yes, he has all her records, and we are attired like the Rambling Men. Now, I think the effect was spoiled because Hannah refused to dress as Philomena Begley. I think she should have given it a shot. Andrew has talked very movingly about his dear departed, and it would be remiss of me if I didn't mention my side of the family and my wife's side of the family as well, because Rory is the sum total of a lot of people who have unfortunately passed away, who helped with his upbringing and gave him a lot of support and care and attention. My own mother passed away just at Christmas, and her sister, Muriel, the two of them spent a lot of time with Rory. And my wife's parents, Pierce and Maureen. And so he came. That's one of the reasons why he's probably such a big softie, is because of all the spoiling he got when he's being looked after by his grandparents. He mentioned as well the fact that he found it very easy to approach Andrew and ask for her hand in marriage. Now, we didn't quite have it the same, my wife and I, because whereas my mother came from a traditional sort of Protestant Unionist background, my wife came from a traditional Catholic Unionist background. And 30-odd years ago, it didn't go down sort of immediately as well as perhaps as it might today. And when my wife first broached the idea with her father that we wanted to get married, he sort of thought about it and then said, "I tell you what, why don't you take a break for a year and move to Coleraine?" Now, I'm not sure if it was the idea of living in Coleraine for a year, but if he'd maybe offered her Paris instead, it might be different. Rory has taken his upcoming duties as a married man very seriously, and he told me, Hannah will be surprised to know that he's been taking some sort of cookery course Well, he's been following a very popular book of cookery, and it is actually, if I mention some of the recipes, Hannah, you'll probably recognize it straight away. Pot roast hogget? No? Rabbit with prunes? No? Well,
upside down.
This is his favourite chefs, the hairy bikers, and he wants this to hang in his kitchen, Hannah. Okay, so if that's okay with you, you can look forward to pot roast hogget. Rory was very keen on schools, believe it or not. He loved going to school and he loved the sport. Nowadays, I think it's Hannah is probably famous for the sporting in the family with her tag rugby. Rory's sort of more injury prone nowadays. And a sad, revelation to make about Rory is his first sport wasn't soccer, it wasn't rugby, it was hockey. He probably, knew there was something wrong with him. And as well as that, in addition to that, when he started mini rugby, he started at Instonians. Yes, shame on you, I hear some of you saying, yes. Now, we had few problems with Rory in his upbringing. The first major one came at 9 years old, when he announced to my wife and I that from now on he wanted to be called Eric. No, we said, that was the heyday, if you call, of Eric Cantona. He was absolutely obsessed about Eric and thought it most unreasonable that we didn't agree immediately to change his name. He was very prone to have over-enthusiastic playing. Once, when playing with his cousins from Cavan, I thought the ceiling was about to come down, and then I heard screams. I ran upstairs and found that they'd been playing a camping game, and he'd gone as far as lighting a campfire in the middle of the carpet. Another famous one that he likes to recall himself is when himself and Owen and various other guys decided to come round to our house and dye their hair. Now, I didn't object to the fact that they looked like a set of down-at-heel badgers. It was up to them if they thought it made a fashion statement. But the fact was he dyed his brand new carpet much the same colour. Now, I just want to briefly mention Niall as well as the best man, because his main duty so far has been to organise a stag party. And we started the stag party with a fairly civilised game of football at Oma Leisure Centre. And then we moved deeper into County Tyrone to stay for the night and went to an activity centre where there was clay pigeon shooting, archery and air rifles. And I'll not go into the detail of it, but all I can say is that some people think that health and safety for some firms has gone too far, but this wasn't one of those firms. Now, another thing that was unusual for this stag party is that stag parties tend to have something, spicy or wow factor that people say incredible. Well, the wow factor at this was very unusual. It was provided by his cousin Jamie, who delivered tutorials on the history of the Church of Ireland. Now, I don't know, where's Jamie? Where is he? Here he is. Now, astonishingly enough, there were one or two people who missed those tutorials. I think Stuart McAvoy there missed one. And the good news is that Jamie is prepared to undertake the same duties tonight. So he'll get round to you at some stage if anybody would identify themselves to him and just let him know. Finally, I'd just like to congratulate the young couple again and hope they have a very long and happy life together. And I admire the contribution that they have made to the wider community, working with young people. My wife and I have been out to visit their work in the Sports Academy in George, and it is absolutely fantastic, and you can see the benefit it brings to those children, and you know, long may it continue. I would also like to thank Andrew and Heather for their fantastic organisational skills in setting this whole thing up, and not least in producing such a fantastic daughter in Rory's wife. Thank you.